Hi, I'm Tonya Cook, and I'm here today to speak to you from the College of Policing about the public health approaches in policing, the current picture. My role at the College of Policing is as the frontline policing advisor, and I have responsibility for progressing the public health approach, supporting the National Police Chiefs Council lead, Mr. Julian Moss. We've also got the national network of force leads, and I also contribute to the consensus task force. So today's presentation, I'm going to cover the role of the college, establishing the public health principles, the second landscape review, the emerging practice and findings, and then also what next. So in terms of the role of the college, the primary role of the college is to identify, share best practice. And where this comes from is in 2018, there was the Public Health and Social Care Consensus, which set together principles for working together to protect and prevent harm to vulnerable people. 2019 saw the College and Public Health England discussion paper, which set out the public health approach principles. And in 2020, the principles were formally launched amongst police leaders, academics, and where emerging practice was shown and the importance of early intervention was discussed. The principles of public health approaches, so I'll start with these and run through why they're important. The population approach, starting with the populations rather than individuals. The population approach focuses on the need of the populations rather than individuals. An example of a population approach is the way that some forces have worked to develop trauma-informed workforces to enable a more empathetic approach. It's seeking to ask who, what, when, how and why questions to fully understand the issue from different perspectives. Looking at methods of early intervention such as preventing and addressing adverse childhood experiences, support and mentoring are an example of this. And also using each other's data sets from partners and working with other communities to understand what are the issues that are affecting them. So if I work on to the landscape review, the purpose, background and method of this, it was to provide a snapshot in ways in which we're collaborating to improve public safety, reduce crime and improve health outcomes. The problem with UK policing is that 80% of police demand can be described as from people who've got complex needs, and we're slow to start realising that health interventions supported by health data hold the key to not only preventing escalation of need, but also of crime. And there's a clear link between health inequality and crime. In essence, what that means is police demand is escalating, and we need to think of new and innovative ways to address this. So in terms of the landscape review, the College of Policing were asked to produce a snapshot of what's going on in UK policing. The way that we did that was for call for practice surveys. There were two surveys, one for force leads and one for initiatives and interventions. What we found was there was a really good return of high levels of adopting the approach and seeing the benefit of early prevention. Positive partnerships were still working but needed to be developed from 2018 landscape review. The call for practice was the largest common focus around both victims and offenders and communities and issues such as drugs. Violent crime, repeat offending and ASB, antisocial behaviour, was also seen to highly feature. Violent crime, repeat offending initiatives show the understanding of early intervention and understanding offending behaviour is linked to adverse childhood experiences and the need for a rehabilitation approach using role models such as community mentors and peer mentors. Some forces even use football clubs. So the call for practice survey showed in force leads a really high return, which we're really proud of. 61% reported public health partnerships arrangements were effective or very effective, which is really positive. The call for practice, which showed the initiatives return, saw 47 responses, again, which is really good. The range of problems showed that policing is really understanding this area. Also importantly, 88% of initiatives were either being evaluated or there were plans to be evaluated to see how successful they are. So in terms of these initiatives and interventions, there was a wide range submitted. things like surveillance. I'll start this slide again, sorry. So in terms of the initiatives submitted, there was really good emerging practice. Suicide surveillance systems, homelessness, the administration of Naxal. I'll start again, sorry. The initiatives submitted showed that there was really strong emerging practice around specific areas. These include a wide range of initiatives: domestic abuse, perpetrator systems, mentors, military veteran support, mental health safe havens, adolescent to parent violence advocates, and even music therapy to divert youth at risk of exploitation by gangs. There was a real strong understanding of learning and evaluation to share this learning and see what was successful. Where we're looking at next is to share this learning, which is really important. The good thing about British policing is we have real strong collaboration with our partners and a real keen knowledge sharing and understanding, but wanting to improve what we do. So what we have at the minute is the National Police Chiefs Council lead, a strong network of force leads who are sharing that best practice and understanding. And to support that, the College of Policing will be conducting an evaluation of the practices and sharing that learning. The way that we're going to do that is by creation of a knowledge hub which stores the initiatives and encourages learning between forces and colleagues. This means it's quite interactive, people can access what other forces are doing, and it encourages discussion between peer leads and encourages networking and learning from each other. There is a series of conferences, webinars and shared learning events which are also being shared and supported by the College of Policing. These have already taken place this year and been really popular in terms of adopting this approach. We're also looking at embedding this approach by possibly using Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary, which is the internal inspectorate for policing, which is run by the Home Office, and that sets out inspection criteria for what police forces need to achieve, and also reports back to the public in documents about how successful they are or how effective they are. What's quite clear is part of the effectiveness and efficiency is about looking at demand and improving the quality of life in our communities. So this is quite an important area. There is also legislation which is due to be introduced. The Serious Violence Duty Act 2022 places a legal duty for police and partners to work together to tackle serious violence and encourages data sharing. However, this stops short of setting those information sharing protocols, so those will need to be formalised at a local level. But it sets in place the importance of working together to tackle serious violence, to look at the primary level, the secondary level and the tertiary level, and what policing and partners can do to prevent serious violence and harm to our communities. So in terms of what next, there's a lot more to do within British policing. The snapshot shows this is really strong emerging practice, which is being adopted across the UK, and we're learning from each other, and we'll continue to learn from each other. We're really proud of the approach that we've taken in UK policing, and the College of Policing is supporting that by sharing that best practice. It's quite early to be able to evaluate this, but it's shown as emerging good practice, which we're highlighting and plan to evaluate in the future. So, as I say, that's a snapshot of what's being produced by the College of Policing. This will be available in the Landscape Review chapter, which will be published by the middle of next year in the summer. So that will be accessed by everybody to see what's going on in UK policing. I'll be available at the end of this presentation to take any questions that you may have, and my contact details are on the final slide, so please get in contact if there's any further information that you need. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the conference.